Hey guys, how you doing today? All right, I'm going to get into a little bit about Erin Helton and sort of discuss why she was pretty much booted off the show. I don't know if she's coming back. I admired her approach of taking La Formula and Zena Halpern's material. I think there is a lot of credibility to the material. And if this is your first time watching, I'll do a little review. But first off, I want to show you something here. This is the day that they were drilling for Erin Helton's uh, tunnel off of her 45-522 theory. And I want you to look at this tree right here. And look at this hole. And look at this truck. And now look at this tree right here. Look at this dark spot, which may be that hole. This is taken August 31st, 2019, Google Earth. And this is the my proposed money pit location based off of Fred Nolan's data. And let me toggle it back and forth. Am I crazy, or is that truck parked right over the top of the money pit? So, I don't know. I don't like to get into conspiratorial kind of thought, but it seems to me that these guys are parked this truck over the proposed money pit. So, if they want to find it, they're going to have to move this truck. And it's so funny because every time I've seen pictures or videos of this area, this truck is always there. It's always parked there. But anyway, just a fun thought, I guess. Erin Helton, this is her data. This is where I predicted Erin Helton would run her 45-522 line, which comes off of La Formula. If you're new to this, La Formula is a cipher that was presented by Erin Helton, or I'm sorry, by Zena Halpern, and the translation of that cipher says from do not dig 40 feet, which means you're at the money pit. You go 45 degrees at 522 feet to La Hampe, which means a pole or haunt. And so something is at 45 degrees and 522 feet where you're supposed to enter a corridor to go to this vault under the earth. And this vault under the earth is supposedly where all the treasure is. But it seems to me that the show has abandoned this theory, along with Erin Helton, because they decided to drill one hole. How many holes have they drilled over here? Trying to look for the money pit. They drilled one hole here, and I'll show you in the picture here. See, there's the day. This is the day they drilled it. There's the hole. You can see here's a big truck right here, and you go maybe 2 truck widths over, and that is where they drilled. Now that truck in this picture, there's not a truck there, there's this trailer, but if you go 2 trailer widths over, there's the line. So I think it's pretty accurate. This is pretty within a few feet of where they drilled for Erin Helton's thing. But they're drilling right now. Here's RF1, I think, where I suppose RF1 is, where they found a bunch of wood. And the reason they found a bunch of wood is because they probably drilled into this what I believe to be the flood tunnel. And here's 10x. Throughout the years, all they've been doing is drilling into flood tunnels. Now this line right here just represents, a rough estimate of where it is. It's probably much wider than this line. So why they just gave up on Erin Helton is beyond me. And why they drilled this hole here is beyond me. They should have went to here and looked with Gary's magical metal detector that detects tunnels. They should have went up here, but they still would have found nothing because they're far away from really where it is. Erin Helton's data relied on things that were very random. She had a stone out here which she just picked randomly, and she also picked this as a center of a circle. I don't know why she did that, and she ends up intersecting right here. The only real historical verifiable landmark she used was this one right here. This stone was recorded for some reason. But the data that I used is based off of Fred Nolan's map. And he went out and surveyed this whole island. And this is the spot that I came up with. And you can watch my other videos. I do explain how this point is arrived, and very methodically arrived at. But when we get to the money pit, La Formula, the cipher says, it says basically, it does say stop, but it says extreme. In other words, this is an extreme situation. And it says, do not dig at all 40 feet. Do not dig at all 40 feet. So you're not supposed to dig anymore. And it says with a 45-degree angle, 522 feet, you go here. So if you're not going to dig, what are you going to do? You're going to walk to another place. This is a decoy, a trap, for probably English people, because it was written in English. The cipher of the 90-foot stone was deciphered to an English language. So this was a trap or a decoy. Now, is there a tunnel going from here, from the money pit to here? We don't know. And would they have found one if they drilled it on my line? I don't know. It could be that this is filled in. And there's a reason for that, is because, well, actually the water would not be able to go uphill. So, but if it was done at the same depth, which I believe is 160 feet. And how I determine that is if you go from the beach, and there is a beach entrance here that is now a flood tunnel outflow. We know this because they dropped dye into one of these boreholes and it flowed out. So this is an outflow of water for the flood tunnel system. If this is down to 160 feet, which means this is approximately 530 feet. If you take a 17-degree angle and go down to to this point here, you reach a depth of approximately 160 feet. Maybe a little bit less, but it's definitely below the 100-foot level or the 108-foot level where the flood tunnel would merge into the money pit. So there would be something below that. So if they tunneled in here to the money pit, dug the money pit, probably for ventilation, and then continued to dig to this, the 45,522, that could be true. And if they did do that, it's a big question is why would they do that if they were going to build another shaft right here? The only conclusion I could come up with is what they were transporting through the tunnels was too large or too heavy to lower down into a shaft. It was too dangerous. It had to be taken in a tunnel on wheels or a cart and delivered. So if they did that, then that means that there has to be some kind of a chamber at the bottom of here, because what if they did fill in this tunnel, they would have to store it right here. Now maybe they didn't fill in this tunnel. Maybe this tunnel is there, still there, and it's blocked off. It was blocked off from the bottom of the flood tunnel also, and to the top of the flood tunnel. So that is a possibility. Or they did build a chamber, brought what was into this chamber once it was complete, and then from the point of this shaft, they used all the material that they dug out to this point, which is right perpendicular to the eye of the swamp. They took all this material and backfilled this tunnel once they got what was in here. Now, the crew, there would be two crews. There would be one that would build the flood tunnel system and one that would build this system. And it's about 1,600 feet. They're both approximately the same length. So if they built them at the same time, it would take them about 160 days to dig it at 3 meters per day, and that's 24/7. So they would, if they were going to do it in shifts, that's how long it would take them. Now the stone lining and all that, that's a different story, how long they would take it. But they could be doing that in the same time. When they dig, they line, and they just keep going forward. You remember, if these are Templars that are depositing this, they're experts at tunnel building. They've been building tunnels for centuries, for a couple of centuries. And the skills to do it are passed down. Let me see, I got some pictures here. Here's some tunnels. This is the tunnel at Acker, and this is the tunnel that was built in the city of Acker. And you can get on Google Earth or Bing or whatever, you can web search it, Templar tunnels, and find the tunnels at Acker. They have all kinds of videos. It's pretty amazing what they found there. And there's still what they call the treasure tower buried in Acker. And there's, theories that, they use these tunnels to transport their gold to the treasure tower, and they kept it there. And when the Knights Templar and the Crusaders lost Acker in 1291, they had to get out of there and bring the treasure somewhere else. And I believe that that place is Cyprus, the island of Cyprus. But here's another tunnel. And you can see how precise these rocks are that are used to line the tunnels. And they do this, if it's not rock they're tunneling through, if it's dirt or clay, they line it with the rocks. So this is probably what they did on Oak Island. And how long it takes for them to do this, that I don't know. But to dig a tunnel, it would take approximately 160 days to do the flood tunnel system and the vault system in 2 crews working simultaneously. So 160 days is what? Approximately 5 months plus 10 days. So it could have taken them just maybe a year or two to complete that. So another thing, about this too is in the on the map of Xena Halpern, it says La Volta. The vault below the ground is the vault. And it's funny that they choose this word. Why did they choose the vault? And why didn't they just say the chamber beneath the earth? And, when you look at the Anglo-Norman dictionary, the vault, it means a vaulted roof or ceiling, or a cave with an arched roof. And right here is La Volta, arched or vaulted. So it's consistent. The word that they chose in this map is consistent with the tunnels that we see that are built in Acker. They're arched. And that to me tells me that it's just another indication through the language that this is what is there. And what's interesting is the person who wrote this, how did they know that this was arched? I mean, how did they know that this was the style? Unless they were just guessing. I would assume that they were there, that they actually saw this chamber, and they're describing it in a way that is indicative of the architecture of the Knights Templar. So anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. It's interesting. These flood tunnels are purely theoretical. The black lines here are hard data points. And if you watch some of my previous videos, I describe how I arrive at this money pit area. And it is, it's pretty funny that this truck is parked 24/7 over that spot. Very interesting. Alright, you guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon.